Alright, what's up, guys? Welcome to another episode of the TMossBoss Show. And in today's episode, I wanted to talk on Vince McMahon and the WWE because I honestly think some crazy stuff is going on with them. Like more so of a money issue, but there are some things going on with those guys. Like it's just crazy to see what WWE has became versus how it was like a few years ago. Like a few years ago, wrestling was on top of the world, or at least not a few years, but like definitely before the pandemic, wrestling was on top of the world. All of a sudden, this pandemic happens, wrestlers can't show up. There is at a moment where they were showing old wrestling matches, thinking people really wanted to see that. They wasn't. Then the fans not being there, so they lost viewership. They lost a lot, okay? They had to fire these wrestlers. And the one thing that makes me believe that wrestling or WWE doesn't have the clout that they used to have is overall the times when they'll come on TV. Like now they're coming on to this like FS1 channel and it's coming on in like an earlier time because of the baseball or something like that. And before it was like they always used to brag about, oh, we're the most viewed show this week, beating baseball, basketball, football, all these different. And now all of a sudden, it must have not been by that much. Like it must have been like they had just beat that. They just crossed the finish line just in time. And now all of a sudden, like now, with all these sports and things coming, well, I mean, they're already back and they already got their fans. WWE has their fans, and I'm like, how long is it gonna take before you guys can get back to normal? And then that was one of the things that made me like, or that's making me think like, you guys is just overall getting hit hard by this pandemic. Like, I don't know why you guys are so afraid so afraid to admit that, because I highly doubt that you guys will fire your top tier wrestlers because of, why did my phone just go off? Somebody added me on Facebook. Who is adding me on Facebook? I do not know that person. I don't know nobody named Sasha Witchett. That is a weird name. But anyways, besides that, but no, like you guys have fired Bray Wyatt, literally the money leading man, and I'm guaranteed if they still would have had him hired and would have had him doing like the proper matches and stuff, oh, it could have been something serious. Like, imagine this Roman Reigns versus this Bray Wyatt. Didn't they do that? I don't know. But if it did, they did it briefly. And then was like, oh, okay, let's not have. But I'm like, you guys had literally everything that you needed to make the best of what you can. And you didn't do nothing. And that's honestly why, like, you guys got so hit hard by this pandemic, because you guys I feel like a lot of people in a lot of different places did get hit hard by this pandemic. They wasn't expecting it, which makes sense. I can understand that. I know I wasn't expecting the pandemic. I wasn't even expecting to lose the job that I was working at in the Seattle. But I came up with a plan. I went at it with YouTube and kept going and kept going and kept going and kept going. And I'm in a much more better place in YouTube than I have been in, like, I don't think I've ever been in a good place like this on YouTube. Ever. So I'm like, my thing is this. You're literally the leading wrestling company of the whole world. Okay? You guys was definitely beating TNA Impact or Impact. AEW wasn't a thing. New Japan Wrestling, I was like, I didn't even know what channel that could come on. You guys was literally the leading pack, okay, when it came to wrestling. Now, all of a sudden, it's like, fam, you guys is like worried about this competition with AEW, and you're trying to do all these things and beat them with show. And the funny thing about it is that with this FS1 channel, so wrestling is going to be coming on earlier, and I'm thinking it was going to be coming on at its regular time at 8 o'clock because it's Friday, and so of course Friday Night SmackDown. So I thought it was going to be coming on on my channel is channel 13 at 8 o'clock, and then I thought it was going to be leading into like 10:30 because I know they're trying to do this whole competition thing with AEW. what's crazy is that wrestling is coming on at 5 o'clock on this FS1 channel, and then it's going off at 7:30. So people are still going to be able to watch AEW and stuff. I'm like, you guys didn't even bother to think that one through. So now I'm like, yeah, AEW, the fact that they had just when it was just Dynamite and it wasn't this Rampage show, but when it was just Dynamite, bruh, it wasn't, you guys was not competing, and you had 3 different shows. You guys had NXT coming on the same day as AEW Dynamite, and look how that turned out. NXT is now coming on Tuesdays, and what still comes on Wednesdays, still at its regular time. They might, well, I think, yeah, they're doing like a special event now where it's like on a Saturday, but at least then they're like, oh, okay, you know, well, if it's coming on a Saturday, let's have some dope matches. Like, that's the one thing with like AEW. I barely know any of those wrestlers, but when I see those guys wrestle, it's like, fam, you guys are killing it. Like, this is the wrestling. Like, I don't know. Like, there is just always, with me, there was always something like missing with wrestling. And I'm like, every time when I watch like WWE, there was always like something that just didn't have me like connected to it. You know, like when I was like just before the pandemic, like, I mean, you know, they were on top of the world and they were doing their thing and all that. But I know for me, like when I would turn to wrestling, and I'm like, I don't know, maybe I'm just not a big enough fan of WWE that I thought I was, and I'm not trying to mean that in a disrespectful way, and I know I probably just ruined any chances of me ever getting featured in WWE, but like I would never sit there and be like focused or glued to the TV. Like, they went through so many rivals. They went through so many different matches. They went through so many. And the funny thing about it is that, oh, now we got to have all these matches coming on during, like, you know, like the weekly shows and not during the pay-per-view. And now they got to have this Peacock deal where it's like, oh, you get to watch all the pay-per-views on there and stuff if you have a Peacock subscription. But I'm like, bruh, like, I'll admit I still watch wrestling, but still there's just something that's missing. Like the fact that AEW will have some of these top tier crazy matches coming on like during, you know, the weekday where it's on either Dynamite or Rampage. I'm like, the fact that they do that, and it's like WWE, you're trying to compete, and it's like, fam, you guys gotta have more interesting matches. Now, y'all have been killing it with Roman Reigns. I'll admit that for sure. Y'all have been killing it with Roman Reigns. But I'm like, fam, this should have been something that should have been done like a long time ago. Like, I feel like that definitely was like a last minute resort. Or Roman, Reigns, like who he actually is and stuff. I mean, I don't know. I kind of feel like it's disrespectful, like calling him by his real name. But like the man behind Roman Reigns, I felt like that it was him that came up with the idea of being the tribal chief and, you know, this just dominant wrestler. Because Brock Lesnar wasn't coming back no time soon. There was all these other wrestlers that wasn't coming back no time soon. And I'm like, that was the one leading wrestler that you guys had. I mean, you've been pushing him for some time now. And so now that, now that he's this tribal chief guy, you guys, that's like the one lead. It's that and Big E being champion. Now, you guys better not do no situation where Big E gets to a pay-per-view and he ends up losing his championship, because I know he planned on doing this whole thing with Drew McIntyre at Crown Jewel. And so I'm like, fam, you better have it where Big E wins. Like, Big E, out of all those wrestlers, I mean, there's a lot of good wrestlers, but he needs to have his championship run. I'm saying whether he needs to go back to that old Big E that he was, that when he was with Dolph Ziggler and I was about to say AJ Styles, AJ Lee, but there's just too many people with the same names in this world. But nah, if he needs to go back to that Big E where he was dominant, okay, then do that, all right? But all this, I'm saying, like, you know, any other extra stuff where it's like, oh, we gotta do this or we gotta do that, and and I'm like, fam, stick to the script, okay? What you guys got going on now, and add more to it. Don't take away from it, add more to it. Because I feel like that's why AEW is killing it. They have something. They have like the root of it, and they're just adding to it left and right. They're not all like, oh, well, let's see what we can do with this wrestler. Let's see what we can do with this. Let's come up with, all this other. I'm like, fam, they got something good and they're rolling with it. Rather than with WWE, it's like you guys will have something good or will claim that you're listening to the fans. I feel like now they're listening to the fans because the fans, I'm like, when you see that stuff trending on social media, of course people are going to listen to it. I feel like that's like one of the main reasons why Big E is champion today, because they knew he was going to be in the Money in the Bank. So people was like, bruh, he has to win this. I think it was that day when Money in the Bank, Big E was trending. So it was like he had to win that match. And then with this match with Bobby Lashley and stuff, then news broke out. Big E was going to cash it in. He was trending. And people was like, hey, yo, he better win this. What did he do? He won. Now with this Crown Jewel event, he needs to win this. It can't be no situation. And any other wrestler that he comes across, whether it's old or new, he has to win. He has to be dominant. He has to pretty much be, if he has to, like I said, if he has to go back to this wrestler that he was back when he very first started, I'm like, all right, do that. But I'm like, fam, you cannot, fumble the bag this bad, WWE. You can't. It's just not even humanly possible to fumble the bag that badly. I'm saying, and that's honestly, I had to say that's probably one of the main reasons why wrestlers don't want to wrestle for WWE no more. They want to go over to AEW. AEW is the moneymaker. And that's, man, I'm telling you, it's crazy to just see a company literally come from nowhere and just kill it. That's crazy. How does that even happen? So I'm saying, man, WWE, y'all gotta do better than that. I'm saying that, and I'm saying because you know what? Here's the thing. I have been a long time fan of WWE. I've been watching I make sure I turn to it every single day when it comes on, whether it's Mondays, Tuesdays, Wednesdays, Thursdays, Fridays. There has been times where I've ordered pay-per-views. I make sure now with Peacock, I watch all the pay-per-views. I watch everything that I possibly can surrounding WWE. I remember being a kid, getting the magazines left and right just so I can, read the articles, and still got those magazines till this day. I have been a WWE fan. That was one of the things. I was growing up, I was so loyal to WWE, where TNA Impact didn't matter. I didn't even know what New Japan Wrestling was. I didn't know what any of that stuff meant. All I knew was WWE. I called up the WWE headquarters just to ask to see how old do I need to be so I can be a wrestler for WWE. I was so prepared. I was getting books, reading magazines, looking at stuff. I was, doing everything that I possibly could. Because that's how much of a fan I was of WWE. And as the time grew out and stuff, I got older, and I'm like, hey, yo, they still doing the same stuff that that they were doing when I was a kid. You guys gotta do something a little bit more. And that's why the network, the USA Network, Fox Network, they're like, fam, you guys gotta go a little bit more crazier than this. If you need to change the TV rating, then do that. Have it where it's TV 14, TVMA, rated R, AO, for the adults only, or not wrestling, but the video games, because I think, didn't they do a adults only Grand Theft Auto? Regardless, you guys gotta go above and beyond. I'm saying, you have the time, so use it. You guys with Monday Night Raw, you guys got 3 hours. You got 2 hours with NXT. You got 2 hours. NXT is honestly the better show. I remember I kind of was didn't really trust NXT too much. But NXT, I had to say, SmackDown is good because of Roman Reigns. Monday Night Raw is good because of Big E. But NXT is good because of just all those wrestlers that they have on there. And I'm like, you guys, I'm saying, you guys got some other, good things going on with Monday Night Raw and SmackDown. But I'm saying, people only tune in for one thing and one thing only. So I'm saying, you guys have this time, and now you're trying to add more time to what you already have. No, you don't need to add more time. You have what you need. So use it. Don't just be like, oh, well, let's have it where Drew McIntyre is going around chasing the 24-hour championship. No, have it where Drew McIntyre is literally destroying all of WWE, and it's taking like the top tier executives to calm this man down, but he ain't listening until he gets. Y'all need build-ups. You guys need like that strength of like, oh my god, like what is happening right now? This isn't normal. Like I remember when what was that like faction that they had, and now it's just only them two guys, the black man with the dreads and then the white. Well, I think, aren't they on different brands now? I think they're on different brands now. But before that, when they were like that big giant faction and they were hacking, and then they had that Mustafa Ali, I think that because he don't go by, it's Mustafa Ali. I don't freaking know, but anyways, tomato. But when he was the leader, and then I was all like, you guys, that's something that y'all need again. When it was how it was at the start, it was good. Then all of a sudden it became this like, oh, wrestling tag team and stuff. Like, okay, had it where they had the contract, but they needed to just overall just go around and still be destroying stuff. Because that could have probably carried on a little bit longer. But, and then like with Eva Marie, honestly, you guys need to have it where she's like a Paul Heyman, where she's like, doing some talking stuff. Because I'm like, man, or if she does have some talent with being a wrestler, it needs to be used now. Okay? Like, not later, not when it's good for you guys. Like, I'm saying now. Alright? Because that doesn't even make any sense. How that girl, she'll like, I see how she wrestles, and I'm like, fam, is she trolling? Because that just doesn't even make any sense to me. She has to be trolling. So I'm like, if she ain't trolling, and that's how she actually wrestles, okay, eliminate that. She needs to either be on commentary, she needs to either or get like go to NXT and get a little bit more training, go to the development team or something, do something. But I'm like, that ain't normal. That is just not normal at all. And I'm like, there's all these other different wrestlers that can kill it. And I'm like, you mean to tell, what's that one girl? It was the black girl. She's on NXT now, but I remember she used to be on the main roster. I'm like, you mean to tell me that she gets a NXT spot? Meanwhile, Eva Marie gets what brand she's on? Raw? A Monday Night Raw spot? Like, bruh, come on, man. Y'all can do better than that. Like, that's honestly, it just leads me to believe that there's like, wrestlers that y'all care about, and then there's wrestlers that you don't care about. I'm like, nah, you should care about all your wrestlers. They're signed to your brand. They very well can go to another. I'm telling you, if AEW is like the leading, like they're the ones making the most money, they're the ones going above and beyond, and a lot of because I'm saying, like, I'm pretty sure there's a lot of people out there that is loyal to WWE, of course. But I'm like, look, you can't keep having their legends come back trying to do wrestling. Because I'm like, you guys honestly forgot that whole situation with Jerry Lawler when he wrestled. Then he went back to the commentary area and had a heart attack. So that's why I'm like, you guys can't be doing it with these wrestlers, these older wrestlers. I'm like, unless they're, physically fit, you've done some sort of training. But if you're expecting them to go based off of what they already know, I'm like, that ain't going to work. That's not going to slide. I'm like, it's going to get to a point in time where it's like, this is going to happen way too often. You guys are going to have to hire some like new and upcoming wrestlers. But then I'm like, if you guys are going to be like, oh, well, we're going to fire you after a while because we feel like that, you're not fit, or we can't come up with no storylines or nothing for you. I'm like, yeah, a lot of those wrestlers are going to go to AEW. And then AEW, guess what's going to happen? They're going to be like, oh, well, we need to expand more. We need to come out with some more wrestling shows. So now they came out with some more wrestling shows. Now WWE ain't in the competition. Now you ain't got fans showing up. Now you ain't got people watching it on TV anymore. So then you're gonna probably lose your spots on like USA Network and Fox. Now you're gonna have to go to some channel on cable that nobody don't even have. And they're gonna be like, what is this channel? I ain't never heard of this channel. So then at that point, then you're going to be like, well, dang, ain't nobody watching us on this channel. We done lost even more viewership. We done lost even more fans. So then you're going to start giving away tickets for free. People are going to be like, no, this don't seem right. Why are you guys giving away tickets for free? So you usually have to pay for that type of stuff. Then you're going to be going above and beyond for these wrestlers. I didn't get a chance to talk about the wrestlers. You guys are going to be going above and beyond for these wrestlers. And guess what's going to happen? They're going to mess around and get injured. So when they get injured, now you can't use them anymore. Now you guys literally have nothing. And I'm like, fam, I would really hate to see that happen, where it gets to a point where you guys can't even like provide for like the fans no more, and then you guys gotta shut down the business, because that's gonna be tough. That is gonna be tough. That is gonna be something where I'm like, dang, I never thought I would see the day. But if that day ever does happen, I'm like, man, that's going to be one crazy day in wrestling. So I'm telling you, it's going to be a situation like that at Vine, where we're going to look up one day and all of a sudden they're going to be like, oh, WWE is shutting its doors come in next year or the year after or whenever. And then that's when everybody going to be like, oh, well, dang, let's go and try to, nah, it's too late. It is too late. I'm like, you guys going to try to be like, oh, let's try to do something now. I'm like, nope, ain't going to happen, because it's too late. They still going to shut down their doors and stuff. So, but anyways, yeah, but I truly do believe that Vince McMahon and WWE, like, they're just getting hit hard right now. And I'm like, man, you know, you guys can, like do something and things, but I don't know. It's like, they don't, but if they do, then, yeah, I'm like, we ain't got nothing to worry about. But anyways, I will talk to you guys later. Thank you guys for watching in or listening. If you're viewing this on YouTube, make sure you like and subscribe. And if you're viewing this on the podcast streaming service, make sure you follow or subscribe, however it's set up. Make sure you subscribe to one of my 36 YouTube channels. Follow me on Twitter, TikTok, Twitch, and Instagram at TMossBoss. And make sure you follow my Facebook page at TMossBoss fan page. Also, if you're purchasing any tickets from SeatGeek, make sure you use my promo code TMossBoss. It will knock $20 off your next purchase. And make sure you also use my supported creator code TMossBoss for Epic Games. And in the meantime, I will talk to you guys later. Thank you guys for watching and or listening, and peace.